And I'm back with another video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share it.
15, and Sean Turner, 14, navigated life in the south side of Chicago. Darnell, the quieter of the pair, possessed a sharp analytical mind. Numbers fascinated him, whether in the form of coding, data sets, he found order and potential in systems. Every evening, after school, Darnell immersed himself in online tutorials, teaching himself programming languages. His second-hand laptop, a gift from his mother, became his portal to a world far beyond the cracked streets and aging apartment buildings that defined his everyday life. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Darnell's mother, a nurse juggling double shifts, rarely had time to supervise him. This absence left him with long hours of independence, which he filled with his burgeoning interest in technology. Despite their modest living conditions, Darnell's dreams stretched beyond the confines of their two-bedroom apartment. He envisioned a life of success, one built not on luck but on knowledge and precision.
That's some real stuff, man. The music is really beyond what you think you tell me now.
Sean, on the other hand, thrived in the social realm. Charismatic and quick-witted, he had a talent for persuasion and an instinct for reading people. His natural flair for design and branding made him a standout among their peers. Sean could transform any flyer, logo, or social media profile into something sleek and professional, using nothing more than free apps and his creativity. Unlike Darnell, Sean's home life was chaotic. His parents, caught up in their own struggles, left him largely to his own devices. He spent much of his time outside, soaking up the dynamics of the streets while staying clear of the dangers that ensnared others. The two boys had met years earlier at a community center, where they attended a tech repair workshop. While other kids quickly grew bored, Darnell and Sean stayed late, dissecting old computers and experimenting with makeshift circuits. Their contrasting skills made them a natural team. Darnell's technical precision paired perfectly with Sean's knack for presentation and strategy. Over time, their friendship deepened into a partnership, bound by shared ambition and the belief that they could rise above their circumstances.
Your mind already better than one. Leave it up. You don't really hear any type of stories in your head. Man, we're talking about here, Texas, city, town, whatever you come from. You better hear it. Very intelligent. Mm-hmm.
Despite their environment, Darnell and Sean weren't drawn to the quick money schemes that tempted many of their peers. They saw older kids flipping sneakers, fixing phones, or reselling concert tickets, but they wanted something more sustainable and less risky. They began brainstorming ideas, scouring the internet for inspiration. One afternoon, Sean stumbled upon a viral video about teenagers making money online. The video highlighted the world of digital products, where people sold ebooks, graphic templates, and study guides, earning thousands of dollars in the process.
Shopify has everything you need to grow your retail business.
The concept excited them. Sean was eager to apply his branding skills to a real venture, and Darnell's technical know-how made building the necessary systems seem possible. After weeks of planning,
That's good enough to do, though. Young type of skill you need.
the video highlighted the world of digital products, where people sold ebooks, graphic templates, and study guides, earning thousands of dollars in the process. The concept excited them. Sean was eager to apply his branding skills to a real venture, and Darnell's technical know-how made building the necessary systems seem possible. After weeks of planning, they launched a small online business selling study guides for popular school subjects. Their early efforts were clumsy, the guides were simplistic, and the website wasn't particularly polished. Still, Sean's social media marketing skills brought in customers, and to their surprise, the guides started selling.
So yeah, but then social media is still still we're not trying building, you know, that's it. So they had a good couple trainings and skills, you know what I mean?
For the first time, the boys tasted success. They celebrated each sale as proof that their ideas could work. However, it didn't take long for them to realize that the market was crowded and competition was fierce. Their business needed more than flashy ads and hard work, it needed a unique angle. Darnell, ever analytical, began researching ways to streamline their operations. It needed a unique angle. Darnell, ever analytical, began researching ways to streamline their operations. Automation seemed like the obvious solution, and he dove into forums, tutorials, and coding guides to learn how to reduce the time and effort required for manual tasks. It was during one of these late-night sessions that he stumbled upon an unexpected discovery, an underground market for educational platform accounts. The forums Darnell found were filled with discussions about selling access to premium online learning services. These platforms, which typically charged hefty monthly fees, provided valuable resources like ebooks, video tutorials, practice exams, and even one-on-one tutoring. On these forums, users sold accounts for a fraction of the cost, often created using stolen data or exploiting free trial loopholes. At first, Darnell dismissed the idea as too risky and unethical, but his curiosity grew the more he read. What caught his attention most was the sheer size of the market. Thousands of people were actively seeking these accounts, and many sellers operated without apparent fear of consequences. The justifications people offered fascinated him. Some claimed they were simply helping students who couldn't afford expensive subscriptions. While Darnell wasn't entirely convinced by these arguments, the opportunity was undeniable. He shared what he'd found with Sean, knowing his friend's knack for spotting profitable trends could help refine the idea. Sean's reaction was immediate. He saw potential not only in the concept, but in how they could market it. Unlike the shady, poorly designed websites common in the resale market, Sean envisioned a sleek, professional platform that would appeal to budget-conscious students. As they discussed the risks, Sean argued that they wouldn't be hacking into accounts or stealing data themselves. Instead, they would focus on automating the creation of free trial accounts, accounts that the platforms already offered. Sean
so he's scammed me, but okay.
Reasoned that since these accounts were technically free, reselling them wasn't truly theft.
If you've been in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead.
The more they debated, the more they rationalized their decision. They convinced themselves it was a victimless crime, the companies were massive, the resources were digital, and no one was directly harmed. Once they decided to move forward, Darnell began building the tools they needed. Using his coding skills, he wrote scripts that automated the process of creating free trial accounts for a popular online learning platform. The script bypassed manual sign-up steps, generating dozens of accounts in minutes. Sean, meanwhile, focused on branding. He designed a polished website that marketed the accounts as affordable educational solutions and emphasized their convenience and legitimacy. Together, they crafted a pricing strategy that undercut subscription costs but still yielded significant profits. Their first few sales were cautious experiments. They used anonymous payment platforms like cryptocurrency wallets to process transactions, ensuring their identities remained hidden. To their surprise, customers responded immediately. Students, parents, and even small tutoring centers began purchasing accounts in bulk. The low price point made their service appealing, and the seamless user experience Sean had designed gave the business a veneer of credibility.
I just found what the other people do. I the same thing what other people do with their website and everywhere. Not me though, but people something that I ain't got no website, so I ain't got that. People, they do. They all type of stuff, websites out there. You click on it, took all your information.
As the orders increased, the boys realized they needed to scale up. Darnell improved his scripts to generate thousands of accounts at a time, while Sean expanded their marketing reach. He used social media platforms and forums to attract more customers, creating buzz around their service. They reinvested their profits into tools like VPNs to mask their activities, bulk email services to handle customer inquiries, and even better laptops to keep up with demand. Within weeks, their small operation transformed into a thriving enterprise. Orders flooded in daily, and the money poured into their anonymous accounts faster than they could spend it. They began to see themselves not as criminals, but as entrepreneurs.
The bank came in. Then, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Who had cracked the code of a broken system. They believed they were offering a service that met a real demand, justifying their actions as resourceful rather than fraudulent. As the operation grew, so did its complexity. Darnell and Sean found themselves managing inventory, customer service, and marketing while constantly refining their methods to stay ahead of detection. What had started as a side hustle to supplement their study guide business had quickly become their primary focus. They weren't just running a scam, they were building a brand.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
By the end of their first month, the boys had earned more money than either of their families had seen in years. The thrill of their success was intoxicating. They reinvested in their operation, confident they had created a system that was virtually foolproof. What they didn't realize was that their perfect plan was already leaving breadcrumbs for anyone determined enough to follow.
Can I get the blueprint? I need it. Need it. Can I get the blueprint? What a crime. I say I'm a crime master, but I ain't. I ain't saying crime master.
For now, however, they were riding high, convinced they had unlocked a shortcut to success. By the end of their first few months, Darnell and Sean's small operation had transformed into an unexpectedly successful enterprise. What began as a niche market selling accounts for one educational platform rapidly expanded into a diversified business. Sean's marketing ingenuity played a crucial role.
Well, let me try to get some money. Learn how to turn out to be a whole legit business. Not just any type of business, but an education business and business. And
In this growth. Using social media and online forums, he crafted a campaign that made their service appear not only legitimate but indispensable. Their website's sleek design and professional tone attracted a steady stream of customers, many of whom shared the link with others. Within weeks, traffic to the site skyrocketed, with thousands of visitors browsing their offerings daily. To meet demand, Darnell and Sean knew they had to streamline operations. Sean, ever the strategist, suggested hiring a virtual assistant. They found someone overseas willing to manage customer inquiries for a fraction of the cost they were earning. The assistant's role was simple: respond to questions, handle complaints, and maintain a sense of legitimacy for their business. This addition allowed Sean to focus on marketing and expansion while Darnell worked on the technical side. Darnell used their growing profits to invest in better tools. With his new laptop and faster internet connection, he refined his scripts to automate account creation across multiple platforms. No longer limited to educational accounts, the boys added access to streaming services, ebook libraries, and even premium software trials to their catalog. Each edition was carefully
So that's who all that's doing. Like the tools, you know what I'm saying? Just clean the tools.
researched to ensure it would appeal to their growing customer base. They also diversified payment options, integrating cryptocurrency wallets and prepaid cards to increase convenience and reduce traceability. The money rolled in faster than they had anticipated. At first, they treated their profits cautiously, reinvesting into the business and keeping expenditures modest.
Then you run that back.
Darnell used their growing profits to invest in better tools. With his new laptop and faster internet connection, he refined his scripts to automate account creation across multiple platforms. No longer limited to educational accounts, the boys added access to streaming services, ebook libraries, and even premium software trials to their catalog. Each edition was carefully researched to ensure it would appeal to their growing customer base. They also diversified payment options, integrating cryptocurrency wallets and prepaid cards to increase convenience and reduce traceability. The money rolled in faster than they had anticipated. At first, they treated their profits cautiously, reinvesting into the business and keeping expenditures modest. However, as their earnings grew, so did their confidence. They began indulging in luxuries they'd once only dreamed of.
I bet.
They also diversified payment options, integrating cryptocurrency wallets and prepaid cards to increase convenience and reduce traceability. The money rolled in faster than they had anticipated. At first, they treated their profits cautiously, reinvesting into the business and keeping expenditures modest. However, as their earnings grew, so did
they confident. You came up with nothing, and you put your arms things. Once you start getting a little popular, you really get too excited and shit. You're gonna be excited. Yeah.
did their confidence. They began indulging in luxuries they'd once only dreamed of. Sean upgraded his wardrobe, sporting designer sneakers and streetwear that turned heads at school. Darnell, while more reserved, bought cutting-edge gaming equipment and a new phone. Their sudden affluence didn't go unnoticed by their peers, sparking both admiration and curiosity. Despite their success, managing the operation became increasingly challenging. The influx of orders meant
So they was telling y'all, they ain't finished school yet? Yeah. Yeah. Those are smart kids right there. Smart, intelligent kids.
more logistical hurdles, from ensuring timely delivery of account details to handling customer disputes. Darnell, always meticulous, insisted on keeping detailed records of their transactions. He encrypted everything, from customer lists to payment logs, using software he'd taught himself to operate. To him, these records were essential for maintaining control and identifying patterns that could help them improve their operation. Sean, on the other hand, concentrated on customer satisfaction, ensuring that buyers felt confident enough to return. He knew that keeping complaints to a minimum was critical to avoiding unwanted scrutiny.
Man.
Darnell grew increasingly paranoid, urging Sean to scale back their advertising to avoid drawing too much attention. Sean, ever optimistic, dismissed these concerns, believing that their professional image would shield them from suspicion. As the complexity of their business grew, so did the pressure. Their days became a blur of balancing schoolwork, maintaining the website, managing customer inquiries, and troubleshooting technical issues. Darnell often worked late into the night, tweaking scripts and monitoring account activity to ensure nothing slipped through the cracks. Sean spent hours crafting marketing campaigns and responding to customers. Both boys felt the weight of their double life, though neither was willing to admit it. The sheer scale of their operation made it increasingly difficult to stay anonymous. Yet, for now, the boys were riding a wave of success, earning more money than they'd ever imagined. They believed they had built an unbreakable system, one that could sustain their growing ambitions. What they didn't realize was that their rapid rise had also made them visible to the very entities they had worked so hard to avoid. By late 2021, Darnell and Sean's operation was running at full capacity, generating a steady stream of income that exceeded anything they had imagined. Their website was thriving, and they had built a reputation among their customers for reliability and affordability. Yet, in the background, the very platforms they exploited were beginning to take notice. The trouble began with the educational platform that had served as the foundation of their business.
I could have one video and go on and do it instead of just a picture. You know what I mean? And more about the message, though, I know.
Its security team had been tracking unusual activity for weeks, an unprecedented surge in trial account signups originating from a single geographic area. These accounts exhibited distinct patterns, identical naming conventions, similar IP address ranges, and unusually rapid creation speeds. Recognizing the signs of automated fraud, the team initiated an internal investigation, using advanced algorithms to trace the source of the accounts. Their analysis led them to a cluster of IP addresses originating from Darnell and Sean's neighborhood. Simultaneously, trouble was brewing on another front. A disgruntled customer
Oh, so that actually wants to be fine right here. I don't know if you must want to end it, man.
frustrated after their purchased account was disabled within hours of activation, filed a formal complaint. This customer, unlike most others, wasn't content with a refund or apology. Instead, they escalated their concerns to the company's legal department, providing screenshots of the transaction and links to the boys' website. The combination of the internal investigation and this external complaint raised a red flag that couldn't be ignored.
Yeah.
Unaware of the brewing storm, Darnell and Sean continued their work as usual. They viewed the occasional flagged account or refund request as minor hiccups, not realizing these disruptions were symptoms of a much larger problem. However, the signs of trouble became harder to ignore. Accounts were being flagged faster, with some disabled within minutes of being sold. Payment processors occasionally delayed transactions, citing suspicious activity. Sean dismissed these incidents as technical glitches, but Darnell's natural caution made him uneasy. Darnell began noticing other patterns that fed his paranoia. Emails from the educational platform hinted at potential legal action, warning of violations of their terms of service. While the messages were
He said it's doing first thought. So it's too first thought.
likely automated, their increasingly frequent arrival put Darnell on edge. He shared his concerns with Sean, but his partner, ever confident, brushed them aside. Sean believed their anonymity and professional presentation would shield them from scrutiny. He argued that the platform's sheer size and the volume of trial accounts being created worldwide made it impossible to pinpoint their involvement. Despite Sean's reassurances, Darnell took precautionary steps. He began deleting older records, wiping transaction logs, and encrypting any sensitive files he couldn't bring himself to erase completely. His instinct for self-preservation clashed with Sean's focus on expansion, creating subtle tension between the two. Sean saw Darnell's precautions as unnecessary, even wasteful, but he didn't interfere. Meanwhile, the company's legal department had begun connecting the dots. The complaint from the disgruntled customer provided a direct link to the boys' website. Investigators cross-referenced the site with data from their internal security team, confirming that the fraudulent accounts were tied to the same operation. The website's professional design and low prices suggested that whoever was behind it had both technical expertise and significant resources. The company, now aware of the scope of the fraud, flagged the operation as part of a larger scheme requiring external intervention. For Darnell and Sean, the first tangible signs of trouble came when payments from their website began experiencing frequent delays. These disruptions, though small at first, quickly escalated. Some payment processors suspended their accounts, citing violations of terms of service. Customers started noticing accounts that didn't work as promised, slower responses to inquiries, and occasional unexplained outages on the website. These issues, though minor in isolation, began chipping away at the boys' once untouchable reputation. As the disruptions mounted, Darnell's anxiety grew. He began to question the sustainability of their operation and wondered if they had underestimated the risks. Sean, however, maintained his unwavering optimism. He focused on damage control, reassuring customers, and adapting their marketing strategies to keep the momentum going. To him, the setbacks were nothing more than obstacles to overcome. Unbeknownst to both boys, their operation was already under surveillance. The company had escalated the case to cybersecurity specialists, who worked to pinpoint the individuals responsible. Investigators monitored the website's activity, tracked payment flows, and compiled a growing dossier of evidence. While Darnell and Sean scrambled to maintain their business. By the time the boys began noticing the full extent of the disruptions, it was already too late. Their system, which had seemed impervious, was now riddled with vulnerabilities they couldn't patch. The warning signs were clear, but the boys were too entrenched in their success to fully grasp the scale of what was coming. For Darnell, the sense of unease was constant. For Sean, the setbacks were merely growing pains. In early 2022, the FBI, in collaboration with the security team of the affected platform, finally closed in on Darnell and Sean. Agents had pieced together a clear trail of evidence linking the two boys to the fraudulent creation and resale of accounts. One February morning, both of their homes were raided simultaneously. Darnell's encrypted laptop, Sean's marketing scripts, and meticulous transaction logs were seized, along with other digital tools that had fueled their enterprise. The sheer scale of the operation stunned. Over $2 million had been generated in a year by two teenagers. The arrests sent shockwaves through their families. Darnell's mother, who had worked tirelessly as a nurse to provide for him, was devastated. She couldn't reconcile the image of her studious, quiet son with the mastermind of such a sophisticated scheme. Sean's parents, less involved in his daily life, expressed confusion and frustration. Both families were blindsided, forced to grapple with the legal and financial fallout. Prosecutors presented evidence that highlighted the technical expertise and precision of the operation, the automated scripts, the anonymous payment systems, and the professional branding. Yet, the defense argued that the boys' age and inexperience had played a role in their actions. Their lawyer emphasized that they hadn't hacked into accounts directly or stolen data themselves, but had instead exploited existing loopholes. It was also Darnell and Sean had cooperated fully with investigators after their arrests, providing key details. The court faced a...
I take that back. I don't want the blueprint. I don't want the blueprint. No, I don't want the blueprint. I take it back.
difficult decision. On one hand, the scale of the scam and its impact warranted serious consequences. On the other, the boys had no prior criminal history and had demonstrated remorse. Ultimately, the judge opted for leniency, taking into account their cooperation, age, and potential for rehabilitation. Instead of juvenile detention, they were sentenced to 1,500 hours of community service each, a 5-year probationary period, and mandatory participation in a financial literacy program. Restitution payments were also imposed, requiring the boys to work toward repaying the stolen funds over time. The story became public news, serving as both a cautionary tale and a commentary on the pressures faced by youth in disadvantaged communities, how ingenuity and ambition, when unchecked by guidance, could spiral into illegal activities. In the months that followed, the boys began their community service, working in programs aimed at educating other young people about the risks and consequences of cybercrime. For Darnell and Sean, the consequences were a reminder of how quickly their dreams of success had turned into a hard lesson about accountability and the limits of ambition.
And then really good that. At the end of the video, I'll hit you back in another like, comment, subscribe, and shitty video about it.